With 2023 being a dream run for Hindi cinema, Akshay Kumar also joined the party in 2023 with possibly one of my favorite stories from Bollywood in the form of Oh My God 2. One has to put into context the abysmal run Akshay Kumar had in 2022. A year prior to this in 2021 with Suryavanshi, if one believed, is there any actor dependable and consistent at the box office, it was Akshay Kumar. If Bollywood needed saving, it would be him to the rescue. But 2022 was one failure after the other that really put into context the unpredictable nature of this industry. With projects like Bachchan Pandey, Samrat Prithviraj, Katputli and Selfie this year, one wondered if there was any introspection that Akshay was doing, and Oh My God 2 really came as a breath of fresh air in an otherwise forgettable lineup. But just like a college student who has backlogs to cover, habits of cutting corners and finishing projects just to casually move on to the next one has adversely affected the genuine hype that once an Akshay Kumar-led film had before it came to theatres. Mission Raniganj barely had a marketing run and developed minimal interest from viewers as it came close to its release. And while I don't want to get into specifics of some of these projects already reaching a positive cash flow before its theatrical run, a worthy storyline and project like this, I believed, deserved a better push from the production team. Mission Raniganj focuses on former additional chief mining engineer Jaswant Singh Gill, played by Akshay Kumar, who evacuated 65 coal miners trapped in a waterlogged Raniganj coal field in 1989. 220 miners were breaking coal walls by triggering blasts, and all of a sudden the wall of an underground table next to their site cracked and the water started flooding in. How Jaswant Singh Gill devised a 6-foot-high iron capsule while circumventing through bureaucratic roadblocks and red tape, saving the lives of the miners in this pursuit, forms the basic storyline of Mission Raniganj. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch the movie in theatres or not. The underwhelming aspects. Rushed narrative and potential. One of the aspects of the film that you will immediately experience is the rushed narrative of the film, almost in a hurry to get to the point of the mission at hand. While this significantly cuts down on the running time and actually benefits the film to become a crisp survival story, the emotional beats are covered like the highlights of a sports event, almost becoming immaterial. Akshay Kumar and his personal dynamic with his wife is briefly presented with a song and dance. The relationships of the miners in the village they live in and the tight-knit community they share is just presented as a precursor to going to work. And a beautiful song like Jeetenge, sung by B. Prak, is terribly wasted in this rushed edit. The film boasts of a very dependable cast and no one skips a beat throughout its running time, but if the attempt by the makers was for us to be emotionally invested in their personal life, especially their family dynamic and the anxiety that builds up in anticipation of them getting rescued, one could have easily spent more time with some of these supporting characters, those of which include veteran actors like Ravi Kishan and Jameel Khan. CGI issues and comical tropes. When the unfortunate incident of the underground table next to their site getting cracked takes place, there are multiple sequences where the strong rapid water flows and injures several of the miners. These sequences boast of very amateur special effects. The CGI of rapid water, from what I hear the toughest to actually render digitally, highlights a clear lack of effort in the technical department, for which I believe a movie especially catered towards a survival story should have paid more attention to. This is also the case with every scene that Akshay shares with Kumud Mishra, where the green screen behind them becomes jarringly clear. I am an absolute fanboy of a veteran actor like Kumud Mishra, and I must say this is the first time I have seen him ham in a movie. There is not a single scene in which he doesn't feature without a cigarette, and it gives competition to Arjun Rampal and Roy. The attempt is to highlight his nervousness, but it comes across as gimmicky. And speaking of gimmicky, Dibyendu Bhattacharya plays a comical antagonist in the film, whose goal for his vested interests of course are to sabotage the mission at hand. And while most stories take the creative liberty to create conflict in real stories for dramatic purposes, it bordered on being old-timey Bollywood villain stuff that took away from the gravity of the real event, especially when all his dialogues are assisted with a tabla and a villain background score. Red tape and corruption can be portrayed while still holding on to the seriousness of the topic at hand. The good, an unsung hero and story. This is a story that needs to be told, and I must say that most of the film pays utmost respect to the event and in highlighting the bravery of Jaswant Singh Gill, who many in the young demographic today may not know about. The film immediately introduces us to the technology that has been executed in the coal mines in India and the influence of the British that has a blueprint since 1575. The film beautifully also highlights the risk of the job at hand and how miners work day in and day out, knowing at the back of their mind how disaster can strike anytime. The unfortunate incidents before 1989 are highlighted, and one gets ready for the crisis looming around the corner. The occupation and its daunting task become abundantly clear as the makers take a literal deep dive of the various levels in which the laborers work. And in this situation where miners find themselves absolutely helpless, there is a need for energy that only looks at possible solutions, and Akshay as Jaswant Singh Gill beautifully steers this ship. Introduced from the first instance as a fearless and determined individual showcasing pragmatism at every situation, be it the mission at hand or crowd control, Akshay is really proficient and convincing in this role, especially as the people around him dismiss the mission, assuming all of them left behind may have died. You need a person who constantly pursues the case, hoping and praying there will be someone on the other end, waiting to be lifted and rescued, and I must say Akshay has done a fabulous job. The supporting cast. What's exceptionally portrayed in the second half of the film are the various personalities of the miners that come at loggerheads with each other as their possibility of survival seems grim. This is where actors like Jameel Khan, someone we absolutely fell in love with in a series like Gullak, shines as the leader of the pack. You also have Ravi Kishan, who from a temperament standpoint is diametrically opposite to Jameel Khan. Emotional and causing outrage among the group, looking at the glass half empty, already assuming that no one will come to rescue them. He shines in the most emotional scene from the film, breaking down next to a fellow miner, one clearly identifying that all of his anger and frustration was a projection of their helpless circumstances. Parineeti Chopra sadly has as much to do in this role as she had in Kesari, the last time she shared screen space with Akshay Kumar, and it's indicative of just the slim pickings for an actor who everyone assumed at one point of time had the potential to be the next big thing. The genre of survival stories and how one perseveres in the most adverse circumstances are few and far between. One thinks of stories like Trapped that excelled both technically and from a performance point of view. I think the gold standard for Akshay Kumar leading the pack on a rescue mission has to be airlift, and while Mission Raniganj has minor setbacks along the way, I do believe it's an admirable attempt at highlighting a relatively unknown story of Jaswant Singh Gill, who laid his life on the line to save 65 miners in 1989. It's just that this tale deserved a better marketing push because it would be criminal if it ends its theatrical run without many takers. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Mission Raniganj. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.